This is The Roman Show.
Well, it's a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, because this Thursday, Combate Americas will be returning back to the airwaves on TV on NBC Universo, and we just got word that former WWE champion and champion of several wrestling promotions and also MMA fighter Alberto Del Rio will be calling the action, and Alberto joins us right now right here on The Roman Show. Thanks so much, Alberto, for taking your time and speaking to us.
No, thank you, my friend. The pleasure is mine.
Now, Alberto, how did this happen, you joining Combate Americas and ready to call the play-by-play action on this Thursday on NBC Universo?
Well, my good friend Campbell McLaren had been trying to make me be part of his organization since I left WWE. Of course, at the beginning, he was trying to convince me to go back into the ring, go back into the cage, and fight again. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a good deal. Talking about the money-wise, we couldn't get a good deal to make me go back into the ring. And we found a way to have me in his organization without thinking so much about the money. And then that's the reason he invited me to be part of this as an announcer for tomorrow's show.
And Alberto, with talking about possibly getting you in the cage, is this still something that you would like to do to compete? And you have a pretty good record in MMA. You competed against Crow Cop. And have you thought about this? Have you also considered, now that you're not in part of the WWE?
Kinda. I mean, since I left WWE, everybody has been trying to get me into their organizations to fight again. But the money is just not there, and I've been saying this since the beginning. Unfortunately, and luckily for me, I do pretty good in wrestling. I'm one of the most paid pro wrestlers out there, and I mean, if the money is not there, there's no reason for me to go back and fight and hurt my body and go back to waking up at 5 a.m. to run 5-10 miles and then go to the gym and get my ass kicked or kick somebody's ass in order to be ready for the fight. I mean, if the money's not there, it's just not going to happen.
Now, if the money is there, how would you feel going up against maybe a guy who's returning back to MMA like a Fedor Emelianenko?
I mean, if the money is there, why not? I mean, so at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, we all love this business, we all love this sport, but at the end of the day, you have to be a rewarder after a hard day of work.
Mm-hmm. And with this Combate Americas, it's going to feature some young talent, some young Hispanic fighters. From what you've seen so far, from what you studied already, what can people expect from these fighters, and how different is it compared to the other promotions out there?
I mean, we can expect a lot from them. They have all the talent, they're hungry to show the world what they can do, and they finally found a platform to showcase their talent. Combate Americas is ready to give them everything to grow with them, because that's the whole idea. Create new fighters, the future of MMA, and Combate Americas wants to grow with them. They want to be an important organization in the near future, and they have the right people behind them. They already put a great team together to start this tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna hear good things about tomorrow's show.
Yeah, and again, Combate Americas airs on NBC Universo tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And now with your current wrestling career, Alberto, you're everywhere. You're all over the place.
Yeah, my friend, I have to pay those bills, so I can't stop. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to be everywhere since I left the other company. Thank God everybody wants to see me. Thank God everybody wants to still enjoy Alberto, and I mean, I'm gonna go wherever they want to see me.
And Alberto, one thing that I remember, and I was watching some of the matches when you returned to Triple Mania. How was that feeling to return to an event like that? And then with the gentleman who unfortunately lost his life, El Hijo del Perro Guayo was there, and all these great athletes. How was it coming back home?
I mean, it was fantastic. It was awesome, and especially because I had the opportunity to go back home. I mean, the place where I was born, San Luis Potosí. Last time I was there before my last show with AAA down there in San Luis was like 9 years ago. So going there, it was fantastic because they were really excited to see their hometown hero, because there's no too many popular persons coming out of San Luis Potosí. We have some, but it's not too common. So for me going back there as a returning hero, and having the support of all my friends and family from San Luis Potosí was amazing. Like you mentioned, I had the opportunity to share the ring with Perro Aguayo Jr. Unfortunately, that accident happened, and he's not around anymore with us. But I mean, I know he's in heaven taking care of us, and his legacy will last forever.
You know, that must have been tough for all Mexican wrestlers. How did it impact? Because, you know, we here in the States, we hear about it, we're all shocked. But for Mexicans, wrestling is not what it is, but pro wrestling is to the States. There's more of a real true feeling behind wrestling. So how was it when the news hit in Mexico that, you know, El Hijo del Perro Aguayo Jr. had passed away, and for yourself too?
It was terrible. I mean, it was it's always difficult to accept when somebody like him goes before his time, and especially for us, for the ones involved in the business, it was really difficult because, I mean, we all know the risk. It's always out there when we are in the ring. We just don't really stop to think about what could happen if you do something wrong, if the other guy does something wrong. And unfortunately, this situation happened with Pedro, with Perrito Aguayo, and I mean, all we can do now is learn from that mistake. The organizations in Mexico, they need to change the way they treat the wrestlers, the way they treat the sport, because we live a different situation down there in Mexico. It's just a few guys like Rey Mysterio, like myself, getting treated the way we deserve. They don't do the same with the other wrestlers, and but I think this is about to change. Unfortunately, it's changing after what happened with Ben.
Yeah, and it's amazing because, you know, I was in Japan not too long ago, and a recent similar situation happened with Mitsuharu Misawa, who passed away in Hiroshima. He was doing a match, and then he went to the hospital and he passed away. And it's something, I guess, internationally that professional wrestlers like yourself are trying to make this an awareness to take it more easy or be more cautious inside the ring.
Yeah, I mean, we all know this is entertainment, but the risk is always there. I mean, for us, the ones performing in the ring, all we have left is just go out there, have fun, and perform, and pray to God that night we can go home.
And Alberto, since you left the WWE and then you started wrestling all the other places, but how was it for you to go back to that style that you had been wrestling prior to going into the WWE? Because WWE is a whole different style of wrestling. Was it easier just to
Well, I've had the opportunity to wrestle all over the world and to all the different companies out there. So that made me a different wrestler. I think that's part of the success of Alberto. That I don't have a specific or just one style. I'm kind of mixing all the things that I have learned through the years, and that's what makes me different in every aspect when I'm in the ring. And just going back there to Mexico and go back to some of the lucha moves or some of the lucha libre style that I used for years, it was good. But I mean, I'm not just a lucha libre performer. I'm mixing things up, and that's why everybody is really happy to have me in their organizations.
So, Alberto, at Combate Americas, you're going to be behind the microphone. I mean, you had your fair share of microphone action, you know, when you're walking to the wrestling ring or making fun of someone that you're going to wrestle. But what can people expect on NBC Universo when you're calling the action?
Well, it's gonna be first of all, it's gonna be an amazing show. We like I mentioned before, we have a great team together to make this amazing tomorrow night. And from my side, I have the experience because I used to compete in MMA. I'm still training. I know I have the knowledge that I have to have to be calling the action in the ring, in the cage. I know how to entertain the crowd. I know how to use the microphone. So I'm hoping that I'm going to do a really good job. Plus, Campbell McLaren and all the people from Combate Americas, I'm doing everything in their power to help me with this and help me to do the best I can do tomorrow night.
Great. And Alberto, when was the last time you sparred in MMA? Have you recently sparred in jiu-jitsu or in stand-up?
I train every week. When I'm home in San Antonio, I always go and do some boxing sessions with my good friend James Leija, or I go and roll around with my jiu-jitsu friends or my Greco-Roman wrestling friends. I mean, that's who I am. I like to train, even though I'm not planning on fighting. That keeps me in shape, and I have fun every time I do it.
Well, Bert, I want to thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you, hearing you, and seeing you calling the action tomorrow night at Combate Americas on NBC Universo. Thanks again, Alberto.
This is The Roman Show.